Welcome back. This is the lesson where the planning stops and the cutover happens. Tonight, Apache goes out and Nginx comes in with real traffic, real customers, and real money on the line. We'll walk the playbook in 5 phases: pre-flight, staging rehearsal, the cutover itself, verification, and rollback. And the rule we never break: if you can't articulate the rollback, you're not ready to start. Phase 1 is inventory, and the rule is simple. You can't migrate what you can't see. Run all 4 commands before you touch anything else. Apache 2cttl-s gives you every VOST. Find-name.htaccess surfaces every override file. Apache 2ctl-m lists every loaded module, and wark captures your baseline latency and throughput. Save that output. That's your migration scope, and without it, you're flying blind. Now zoom out and see the whole shape of the cutover. 5 gates spanning T-1 day to T+1 day, pre-flight, staging, cutover, verify, decommission. Each gate has an entry criterion that lets you proceed and a rollback trigger that pulls you back. If scope is unclear, you don't stage. If smoke tests fail, you don't cut over. If 5xx breaches 1% on the first probe, you abort. Discipline lives in these gates. Skip 1, and you're improvising in production. Which brings us to phase 2, the staging rehearsal. The rule is simple. Production cutover is the second time you run this sequence, never the first. Clone production traffic patterns onto a staging mirror, then walk the script, validate the Nginx config, stop Apache and start Nginx, confirm port 443 is bound to the right process, fire your smoke probes, and run WRK against your Apache baseline to catch regressions. If any step fails on staging, you do not proceed to prod. Full stop. Staging passed. Now phase 3, the cutover itself. 4 steps, 60 seconds, strict order. Drain Apache gracefully so in-flight requests finish, then stop it cleanly and confirm port 443 is empty. That check is non-negotiable, because if Apache is still bound, Nginx will fail to start and you've got an outage. Then bring Nginx up, verify it owns 443, and fire your first health probe. A 200 OK is your green light. Anything else and you revert immediately. No debugging, no hesitation. Once you clear that probe, you're committed for 30 minutes. That commitment opens phase 4, verification in 3 expanding circles. Wave 1 is you, manually, in the first 60 seconds. 6 curl probes, TLS, HSTS, real client IP in the logs. All 6 pass, you move on. Wave 2 hands off to your synthetics for 10 minutes. Pingdom, uptime, 5xx under 0.1%, P999 within 10% of baseline. Wave 3 is the real test, 30+ minutes of actual user traffic. Login rates normal, checkout flowing, Slack quiet. 30 minutes stable, that's success. But sometimes 30 minutes doesn't stay quiet, and that's why phase 5 exists before you ever need it. Rollback is the cutover in reverse, on the same 60-second budget. Any one trigger fires. Checked above 1%, P99 doubled, auth broken, and you go, stop Nginx, confirm 443 is empty, start Apache 2, confirm it's listening, curl the health endpoint, 200, OK. 4 steps, 20 seconds of work. And the rule underneath it all: never delete the Apache config until you've had 24 hours of Nginx stable in prod. That undeleted config is your parachute. So step back for a second and ask the deeper question. Why do we wrap migration in all this ceremony when a normal deploy gets none of it? 3 principles. 1. Gates surface unknowns before traffic does. The forgotten VOST is cheap at T-1 day, brutal at T+5 minutes. 2. Staging is the rehearsal, so production is round 2, with muscle memory instead of adrenaline. 3. Rollback isn't a contingency, it's a step. You keep both configs on disk and just choose which one runs. 5 megabytes of disk, 5 hours of outage avoided. So here's the operational form of those three principles. A single table you actually print and bring to the pre-cutover review. Each row is a phase, the artifact it owes, and the human whose name goes next to it. The rule is brutal and simple. If any cell is empty 24 hours before T0, you postpone. No artifact, no gate. No gate, no traffic. This is how you keep ceremony from collapsing into vibes. Every phase has a deliverable, and every deliverable has an owner. Reading the playbook isn't enough. You need reps. So here are 3 drills that build the muscle memory before you ever touch production. Drill 1. 30 minutes building a real inventory document on any Apache box you can reach. Translate raw output into scope. Drill 2. An hour on a staging clone, executing the 4 cutover steps end to end, timing each one, and comparing against your baseline. Drill 3. 30 minutes hammering the cutover and rollback scripts back-to-back 5 times until both run under 60 seconds without you checking notes. Cowboys skip these, engineers do them, and at T0, with an audience watching, the difference is visible. Drills build the muscle. Now learn from the scars. 5 mistakes, every one of them a real outage, every one of them a shortcut. Skip the staging rehearsal and SysAdmin ambushes you at T0. Delete Apache configs at cutover and your rollback is gone. Cutover at peak and a 5-minute wobble becomes thousands of broken carts. No designated rollback caller, and debate eats the window while support gets paged. Declare success at T+5 and the session cookie bug surfaces 2 hours later in front of customers. Pattern's the same. 30 minutes saved today, 5 hours, and a post-mortem tomorrow. When you see these in a plan, push back. That's lesson 07. 5 phases, a designed rollback, 60-second timing, and rehearsal before reality. Those are the bones of every clean cutover you'll run. Lesson 08 takes the same playbook in the opposite direction. Nginx back to Apache. Less common, equally real, and the gotchas shift in ways worth knowing before you need them. Same discipline, different terrain. See you there.